In this video, we're going to continue the discussion of the OSI model by looking at traffic flows between hosts. I want to show you a practical demonstration of the OSI model by using Wireshark to capture traffic between devices. Now, when communication takes place between two hosts, so in this example we have host A talking to host B, the information that's going to be transmitted across the network must undergo a process of conversion at both the transmitting device as well as the receiving device. This is commonly known as encapsulation and de-encapsulation, and I'm going to cover this in more detail in the next few minutes. At the end of this video, you should be comfortable with the fact that each layer of the OSI model only talks to the corresponding layer of the communication partner. In other words, a layer 7 communicates with layer 7, layer 1 communicates with layer 1, and so forth and so on. So let's look at that in more detail. So when the sender wants to transmit data, let's say in this example, your PC is opening up a web connection to cisco.com, and the PC is sending some information. That information has to go through the OSI model from layer 7 all the way down to layer 1 to then be transmitted across the physical media. So in this example, user data is transmitted. So at a layer 7 of the OSI model, the data is encapsulated with the layer 7 header. That in turn is encapsulated with the layer 6 header at the presentation layer. And that in turn is encapsulated with a layer 5 header at the session layer, which in turn is encapsulated with a layer 4 header at the transport layer. And this continues all the way down. At layer 3, the data is encapsulated with a network layer header. At layer 2, the data is encapsulated with a data link layer header. And in this case, a frame check sequence is added to the data. The frame check sequence ensures that the data is not corrupted when sent from the sender to the receiver. Lastly, the data is transmitted across the wire or physical media as bits, in other words, zeros and ones, and that data is then sent from the sender to the receiver. What I'd like you to notice here is that each layer of the OSI model prepends a new header on the data. So data is encapsulated with a layer 7 header, layer 6 header, and so forth and so on through all the layers of the OSI model and is then transmitted across the wire. In a moment I'll demonstrate this by using Wireshark, which is a great sniffing application, and Wireshark allows us to view data in real time. But please note that the sender is transmitting the data is encapsulated at each layer of the OSI model and is then transmitted to the receiver. So A is sending the data to B. This is a very simple network where I've got two PCs connected back to back with, say, a crossover cable. But in the real world, the network between these devices could be really complicated. Device A may be in England and device B may be in the USA. And there's going to be multiple devices and multiple media types between the two PCs when data is transmitted from A to B. But for now, let's keep it simple. The data is transmitted across a single cable from A to B.